So nice.
I had no idea. I had no idea that I have to speak to you, who is so chirpy and who is taking everybody's trip. I would have thought about it twice before I said yes.
Please excuse all the lame jokes.
I keep forgetting that you guys are young, and I have crossed that long ago. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I getting into? Okay, let's do this.
You are the very cool inspiration for all of us. So honestly,
oh, how is it possible? My hair is grey. How can I be inspiration? You guys are inspiration to yourself.
With grey hair comes wisdom, and let me formally welcome you to the show. A person I think who in alternate cinema comes second to none. His choice of roles, basically, I think are phenomenal. Whenever I've seen him on the screen, my heart melts. And I'm pretty sure all of your heart goes out to him. From Life of Pi, all the way to Parched, from winning an award in Norway to picking up awards in India. Honestly, it is a pleasure and a privilege. Adil, goes to you, Adil. That was very lame, but I had to say.
I have been told this so many times. Ah, Adil. I'm like, well, that's great, How are you doing?
So we're doing fine. How is your quarantine going, sir? How are you doing in quarantine? In quarantine?
How do I look? How do I look?
You look charming, spectacular, and well shaved and well groomed.
You see, I cut my hair yesterday a little bit myself with a tiny little scissor. Well, quarantine is quarantine. I'm used to quarantining myself because I spent around 3.5 years on a river island in a hut without running water and electricity. So this is heaven in comparison to what I have subjected myself, but not really. Actually, I spent on a river island in Hampi in Karnataka, and that
3.5 years.
3.5 years, yes, that is right.
Willingly.
Yeah.
In my case, these people will send me out there unwillingly. But in your case, you went 3.5 years willingly on an island and stayed there.
Yeah. I had something to find out. It's something which was very, very important for me to sort of investigate about the human body and all its facades and all its aspects in terms of emotions and breath, how emotions work, how emotions can be brought into the surface on demand. That's my job as an actor. So to understand how nerves work, how nervous system is connected to emotions, how his body is connected to emotions, how breath is connected to the emotions, and how is it possible for an actor to embody emotions at any given time.
Wow, wow. So you are like the real life Robinson Crusoe. So whether it is a small scissor or a big kitchen scissor, you can give anybody a haircut.
I don't think I didn't manage my 10-year-old son yet, so I doubt it. He's refusing to take a haircut from me. But I hope that I can convince him within these few days. You have to give me tips because I'm far away. I got married pretty late in my life. So our son is 10 years old. So he's 45 years younger than me. So it's like a huge gap.
Right.
And he sees me and the way most probably if one of your viewers or you, I don't know how old is your father and how old, what is the age gap between you and your father? So,
sir, how old do you think I am, sir?
I think you're 25 something.
Yeah! Younger the better.
Good.
No, but sir, honestly, the experience of quarantine for all of us has been a new one. You have chosen voluntarily, you have quarantined yourself in the past.
Yes.
In our case, it's something that we've basically it's been compelled, like we've been compelled to be quarantined. So, any tricks to survive?
Well, it is, you see, I had been telling myself, and I also teach, I had been teaching since 1997. So, acting. Nothing else. I don't know anything else. Um, I
So
had
not
been
so the hair cutting, not the hair cutting. The only acting you're doing.
no, no,
No,
not
no.
really. I can't live on that. No. So Rishabh, what is important thing for me, and most probably it might help you young guys, is to first of all like find a way to perceive this and digest it. Is that most often you cannot control what happens outside of you. Most often. I mean, you can control. You can switch off the light. You can ask someone not to come near you. You can stop talking to somebody. But in a larger scale, things happen that it is out of your control. You know, something like the Delhi traffic. I live in Delhi. Bombay traffic. If you live in Bombay, you know you cannot change the footpath and the roads and the how the society functions, how the police department functions, how the tax department functions, how the driving license department functions. You know, a lot of things that and the electrical department. So things quite often most of the things are out of our control. We accept it.
Right,
Sometimes we grudgingly accept it. The
right,
things which you can control is how you respond to the things which you cannot control. Now, most of us, we operate from a reactive space. We react. So, reaction comes from a very narrow space within ourselves, which is impulsive. People, you don't like people, those are too impulsive. Yeah, some impulsiveness is good, like you say they're true, they're not pretense. All this is good. But too much of impulsiveness is like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know, why? How can you just do this? No, I felt the impulse and I punched his nose. I was like, he's in jail or someone. So reaction is a consequence of the lesser self. It comes out from a lesser self. When I say lesser self, I mean the difference between a lesser self and non-lesser self means a larger self is that when you are happy, when you are content, when you are quiet, like you heard a beautiful music, you went to a nature space somewhere in the park, and you're looking at the lake, the sun is not very harsh, you're sitting, or you're sitting with the person you love the most, and you are quiet, and things are very, very beautiful around you. You feel a sense of calm. So when you operate from there, then you are not reacting, you're responding. The difference between response and reaction is that you are acting from a space of a calmer space or a larger space, a larger self, not from a narrow self or a tiny self. Like
right.
when you're irritated, when you're like a little frustrated, and somebody comes with a cup of coffee, even that, what kya le aa rahe ho yaar, cup nahi banaya coffee. Poor guy, I mean, he like, otherwise he'll say, nahi, nahi, abhi coffee nahi pina hai maine. You're saying the same words, but you have
Correct.
operated from a very, very narrow space, and you regret it maybe if you're sensitive. If you become a little aware, you'll regret it. So, quarantine, coming back to the question that you have asked, quarantine can drive people mad, or it can be a blessing, or it can be an opportunity for people that, okay, I can't do anything about it. I I can react, I can abuse, I can swear, I can blah 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 and all that. Ye nahi mil raha hai, wo nahi ho raha hai. But then this is also an opportunity to find out that what's going on inside me. It could be an opportunity to look within, how the breath works. It's the first and foremost, the easiest way to find out what is happening within you is to just sit quietly in a place. Don't try too hard, but comfortably sit and just observe your breath, which hits on the nose tip of your nostrils, and it goes, follow the path, goes into your till here, and then there is a little turnaround, U-turn happen, and it comes out. Just sit down and just watch your breath. Don't try to change. Don't try to breathe deeper. Just do that, and within 10 to 15 minutes, you'll see, you can start doing it. There's so many things you can do. Like you can learn calligraphy.
This is phenomenal. I've never stayed shut for this long on the show.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No. Trust me. Madhu Sneha says, so lovely to see you always.
Not me, it's you. She's happy to see you.
She doesn't even
Who wants to see a grey-haired person in amongst all the young people? You know, nobody.
No, but quite honestly, now I know why at the National School of Drama and why when you teach, that time there is pin drop silence in your class. The reason is because you mixed both spirituality, acting, and taught us about the pandemic in a 3-minute discourse in which I didn't feel like saying anything for once. And if you ask anybody who's on the show who comes regularly, they'll be like, you've done the impossible. But tell me, sir, when I try to meditate, and I've tried my bits to meditate as well. So I start meditating, okay? After some time, I get to realize the fact that my thoughts have completely drifted. Instead of focusing on my breath, I start focusing on the food that is going to be served to me for dinner. So
I know what you mean. I've gone through. I know what you mean. I've gone through it. So the thing to do then is very simple. You don't try too hard.
Okay.
If the food thought comes, go with the food thought. Don't judge yourself that, oh God, I'm thinking about the food. Oh.
Thank God. Mom, if you're listening, please listen carefully.
No, maybe your mom should teach me something, but what I do, I'm talking about it. That if any thought which comes to your mind, not only about food, but there could be hundreds of thousands of different kinds of thoughts may come. And which is normal, you know. So let you be kind to yourself and not judge or curse or, you know, like, oh. So meditation does not mean you have to be quiet. You're physically quiet, like you're not talking because you're sitting down somewhere. But the mind goes on, the thinking mind goes on. So what you do, you make sure that you sit every day. Even if you cannot sit every day, don't curse yourself. That's my... No, it is important that you should have a happy memory of sitting. It should not be a task. Oh God, now I have to meditate because I said I have to.
That happens to me.
No, so I'm saying that you can set aside a time and a nice place where you would sit so that you feel like going there. You know, make the space, design it nicely, put some cushion if you have, you know, do something with it, put a piece of flower, pluck it from the garden, whatever you feel like, you know, just make a space where you feel that, I'd like to go and sit there. Nice, very nice. Or if you cannot also, maybe after 10 minutes, maybe after 20 minutes, maybe after one day, like, oh, today I feel like sitting there. So make the habit a pleasant compulsion. It should not be a forced compulsion.
Okay.
You get my point?
Okay.
It should be a pleasant compulsion that, okay, today I feel like doing it. Sit there, and when you sit, close your eyes and just observing the breath. But if your mind diverts, goes somewhere else, if you're going with it, okay. When you think, oh, I'm going with that, let me bring back my focus on the nose. Gently bring it. Just be gentle with yourself. Just gentle, not like, oh, it should not happen. Even if it happens, don't judge. Okay?
Okay.
So you think, and then you're like, okay, let me bring it back. And then again it will go, again gently bring it back, very gently. If you can stay there for even 3 seconds, is good enough. Next day it will be more or less. Don't try to repeat what has happened yesterday. Today is a new day. You are new. The stars have gone away from each other. The universe is constantly, expanding. The trees have grown. The birds have grown. You have grown. You've got new tissues. You're a different you today. So don't try to repeat what happened yesterday, even if it is a pleasant experience. oh, I did not feel like what
Sir, but
happened
what about,
yesterday. Yesterday
sir, but
was
what
so
about the
beautiful.
T-shirt, sir? What about the T-shirt? Can we repeat the T-shirt again or no?
You can repeat everything, but you cannot because the T-shirt has also grown older, one day older. Even if you repeat it, it's not the same. No, it's okay. You're trying to crack a joke, but
But isn't the aim to get rid of thought eventually? Where Ramana Maharishi says it, so many people say it, that thought is something, or do you think that that's too deep and that is not necessary for people like us who are normal people, young people growing up, that you just...
Ramana Maharshi, Ramana Maharshi is a normal person only, but he has reached a different space. No, the idea is, of course, to find a way to slowly quietening down your mind. Yes.
Correct.
How much you can do would depend on so many things. Your personal temperament, every individual is different. And you have your own sets of rules and own sets of ideas and conditioning, so you cannot force it. But what you can do, you can try and attempt that, and you can fail. But the nobility of failure, like you cannot say I have failed,
So,
unless you have tried.
I keep failing. I don't, since school, I'm habituated, don't worry. So I keep failing, but I keep
Me too, me too. Look at me.
Sir, I keep failing, but I keep attempting, sir.
Yes, that's all you do.
Sir, but let me take you to a lighter topic, which is in terms of the positive of the pandemic, sir. What do you think is the biggest positive to this pandemic?
Interesting question, because I think that if I look at half the population of the country, which is around 60 crore, when I see them, it disturbs me, and again I have to do certain work on myself so that I don't get, I can get rid of my angst, and come to a look at the positive side of it. I think it is an extremely good time for people like, especially people of your age, who are going to take over the country.
Guys, please listen carefully. We are going to take over the country. We are not taking over only Maharashtra, India, the planet, but we're taking over a galaxy. Guys, this is Adil Hussain.
Taking over the country, because you guys are going to take it over soon from our hands. And so people like us, those who are in a comfortable position, like you are there, you have a house, the fan is working, internet is working. So it is important for us right now to look at the positive side. This is the most, it's sort of a gift, according to my understanding, it's a gift to you to reflect what was normal, which we considered normal, and the definition of what is normal, which kept changing from the Industrial Revolution, from the time immemorial. Before 1990, I don't know, you're born in 1990 or don't tell me your age.
So little after 1990, sir. So a few years after.
Okay, good. Few years after. So 1990, before 1990 in Delhi when I stayed, there was only two different kind of cars, an Ambassador, a Maruti or a Fiat. No telephone, nothing. So things were different kind of normalcy was there. After 1990, 95, 94, 96, 97, things changed in, market opened up, and something internet is normal. It was abnormal. It was also unimaginable that we should be able to talk like this. So what is normal must be questioned, and the normalcy that we have adopted had devoured most of our natural resources. It has kept half the population of the world under poverty line. That cannot be normal for me. What was normal for you and me cannot be perceived as normal when half the population, half the species, more than half the species of the planet Earth was suffering. How can that be normal? So it wasn't normal for me. It was completely abnormal. And few hundred people had the wealth of the 90% of the population of the world. That is not normal. So now this is the time for all of us to reflect that what is normal, what kind of normalcy that we should go back to. And people like you who has this amazing community, most probably that it would be a great idea that maybe, I'm just suggesting, the great idea to write down your ideas of the world for tomorrow. How do you want to see the world? How do you want to see India? How do you want to see human society? What, in details, what should be the governance like? What should be the reform in the police department, the health department, in the idea of war against each other, in terms of how do you, connect with the neighborhood countries? How do you look at sports and what is the role of art in this country? What should be
Correct.
the education system? What should we be taught to? We don't
Correct.
know what is going to happen tomorrow. The entire education system is not prepared for quarantine. Then what kind of education was that?
Correct. No, sir, but what you said is that we need to write about the tomorrow because these are leaders of tomorrow.
Yes,
But
exactly.
sir,
What is your vision for tomorrow?
but one thing, sir, you said is that we have a good community. This community is come here to see you today. If it was just me, then then we wouldn't have a community. It would be me, the mirror, and I. These are three people. But you also spoke about impulse, sir, at the beginning, and
I would
uh,
know. Before going to impulse, Rishabh, I would like to just finish what I said. That maybe it would be a wonderful exercise just for the sake of it.
right, sir.
How do you look at the world from 5 years from now? What is your highest vision of the world, the human community on the planet Earth? If vis-a-vis the relationship between humanity and nature, humanity and other species, living sentient beings, humanity and within other communities and neighboring countries. What could possibly that, what is the world that you would like to live in? And visioning that, writing down as details as possible. They say, the mystics, the Ramana Maharshi, you mentioned, I also am very great admirer of Sri Aurobindo, Sri
Sure.
Ramakrishna Deva, all of them. I am a great admirer of them. I read them. I am very influenced by them. And so they say that when you envision, things starts happening. When you visualize
And then
acutely,
it
things
materializes.
starts happening.
So, but
Yes, and yeah, now talk about the impulses.
no, sir, but before the impulses, you said that we have to envision the tomorrow. So one of the things that we are doing is we are putting out a petition, getting young people to sign it, saying that Rishabh Shah will never come back on Kuch Toh Karona. That is one. But,
Good.
but,
I would like to sign it as well. Just joking. You're doing a great job.
what we are actually writing in that petition is that 1 week throughout the year, we should have human beings caged inside and we should let the animals be outside so that Mother Nature gets to flourish again just the way or just recover again. And that is something that we are doing in a small infinitesimal manner. But what you said is, I think, very true. I think it is imperative that we think about what we want tomorrow so that we can visualize it, actualize it, and then hopefully materialize it. And because I use
And
so many
also,
lies,
yes,
I will go back to the truth. Which is
think that, which is what?
no, sorry, sir. You were saying.
You want to crack another joke? Go ahead.
No. Sorry. Please.
No, what I'm saying is that what you are, if that is actually true, what you're saying, I'm finding it difficult. What you say, which one to believe or not.
No, it's
Which
true.
one?
It's true.
Okay.
It's true.
So I'm just pulling that thread of what you are already writing a little
Right.
farther. Is
Right.
that do not exclude any aspects of human society in our daily living.
Right, sir.
You are talking about giving Mother Nature the opportunity to flourish, which is already happening in a smaller way. Things that the elephants have come out on the streets and the dolphins are back in Venice canals and so many things are happening. At the back, we have a forest at the back where I live, which is in the middle of the city, Jahapana forest. The peacocks are out. It comes, it's amazing things are happening. More birds are coming and trying to, make their nests in the small little trees that we have in the terrace. But I'm saying that if you go into details a little bit, all aspects of life, vis-a-vis your relationship, as I said, that all departments, if you take all the ministries of Indian government and write your vision that it should behave like this, we should include this or exclude this. how police reform can happen. What should be the job of the police? What should be the job of the military? What could they do? Like how art, according to my belief, what I believe, that if we start spending more money in art, and if we start teaching art from the primary level, we'll spend less money in law and order and funding defense budget.
Adil Hussain for Prime Minister.
No, not at all. I can't do that. I'm not. So what I'm trying to say, and I'm saying that if people are calm and they're quiet and they're not reactive but they're responsive, there will be less problem of law and order. So you don't need all these gears and the drones and the military fighter planes and blah, 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 and so many people. So I'm just saying this is one aspect that I'm thinking about, and so many other aspects. You guys are way more creative and you've seen the world. I'm saying you access the world way more than me. I'm not a technology savvy guy.
Yes.
I hardly managed to come on your show like, hey, which button to
Sir, you're very, very humble.
No, not at all. I'm telling you the truth.
For 5 minutes, sir unfortunately had to deal with such bad acting that he was like, kahan phas gaye? And he must be in his mind saying, Kuch Toh Karona. He's asking Kuch Toh Karona. But sir, the second part of what we do is called Tum Bhi Karona. It's called Tum Bhi Karona. And my question to you is, what is it that young people sitting at home, apart from meditating, is there one other thing that you would recommend young people to sit at home and do?
I would not recommend a specific thing, but I would recommend something that you find something you have never done before, like calligraphy.
Right.
Like, say, making...
so I got marks for bad handwriting. I got marks for bad handwriting.
So good. So, embroidery, something that women would do and the males would not do. Something the males would do, the women would never touch. Draw, paint, sing, learn, say, tap dancing, for example. Anything which you have never thought of that, oh my God, try Shirshasana, if you have never tried. So try something which is impossible for you and try something which is easy for you so that you do not feel disheartened, and something which is you think that it will take 20 years for you to learn, but you start doing that, and it increases your self-esteem when you can fulfill a little bit of the goal that you have set for yourself. It helps me. I don't like pasta, but our son, 10-year-old, he loves pasta. So I don't want to buy pasta, so I started making the dough, and yesterday it turned out to be the best pasta that he has ever had. I'm like, great, pasta dough. I'm making pizza dough at home. I just baked bread just before I came. I can show it to you if you're interested. And I can show a bunch of pasta there.
Would love to if you have
just hang on a second. I'll go and get the bread. This is my bread.
Wow.
I just baked it like 10 minutes before I started the chat with you. It's a homemade whole wheat bread, with sesame seed and all that. And I've never made bread before.
So when are you calling me home for dinner?
Come right now. Aajao.
Very smart. Calling me in the time that I can't come. Firstly, let me take you to the last part of what we do. It's a quick question and answer session.
Oh God, I hate it. Tell me. I'm grown old. It takes my RAM is not so fast. It takes and then after that, okay, I'll try my best.
I've been told that supercomputers, their RAM never decreases.
I'm not a supercomputer. I never claimed to be a supercomputer or superhuman. Tell me.
But sir, the first question. You have worked on multiple projects across countries, sir. Your favorite industry to work in? Is it Bollywood? Is it Hollywood? Is it Norwegian cinema? Is it French cinema? Is it Italian cinema? Is it Zimbabwean cinema? What cinema?
You're such a naughty question. I really enjoy working in a quiet set where people are not screaming and shouting. Not at me, but generally to do the scene, which is which is the case in India all the time. Like, "Kya karo na yaar? Fall I am dig raha. Chup karo, chup." I mean, it just drives me. I'm like, okay, now I have learned how to do it. But I just finished shooting for Star Trek, which is coming out soon. The
Wow!
series Star Trek, yeah.
Of course, we know
Uh,
Star Trek.
so that is the third season called the Discovery. The third season, Star Trek Discovery. The third season, I'm there. So I just went to shoot in Toronto, and you cannot hear anybody. I'm like, is there anybody in the set? And I go in, everybody is there. They're just whispering, and this is, and you're like, oh my god, this is so delicious and ideal for my, you know. But then at the same time, I enjoy the chaos as well because
You enjoy.
I think it's fun. It challenges the hell out of me. So I'm learning more here. Yeah. Okay.
So that way you are securing your interest in all industries. Canadian industry you praised also Bollywood,
Bollywood
and you
industry,
praised the
Indian
remaining
industry.
together.
I am, because that is true. Because every industry has its own advantage and disadvantages. Like when you work in the West, if something is not right, they're gonna go mad. It has to happen. In India, it's like चल जाएगा यार, अब कल कर लेंगे. I think they believe in Punarjanam and all that. So like कल कर लेंगे, अगले जन्म. That's why also we produce a. I'm saying that's why we also produce a lot.
Sorry. You were saying?
I'm saying that's the reason also that we produce a lot of mediocre work. West, they are so adamant to sort of achieve the goal, and that is in high-end work. Let's strive towards excellence no matter what. That can be also very fanatic and irritating sometimes. You have to let go at a certain point.
I think the West believes in kal kare so aaj kare so ab, and in India we believe in kal
karo jo parso karo. अगले महीने.
But let me take you to the next question, sir. Which is, according to you, your most challenging role? Which was your most challenging role?
Oh, there was a film which was on Netflix just taken off. I don't know how we'll get to see. It's called Orunadai. The English name is Sunrise, which is a French Indo production. It's the role of a policeman and a father whose daughter was kidnapped. When the daughter was 10 years old, 10 years ago, she was kidnapped. And every day, every night after the work, he goes to look for his daughter, to find her daughter. And I had no idea how to do it. And it turned out to be a fantastic film. And I got amazing reviews from the Hollywood Reporter, from the Variety, and it got awards and all that. Yeah. It's the most challenging role so far I have done.
I think all your roles get rave reviews, especially from the critics. My second last question to you is this, and I want to ask you, saying, if you had to pick one person who is an inspiration for you in cinema and even outside, who would that person be? Who's your inspiration?
Well, there are so many, but in cinema, I would say I was blown by the work of Ben Kingsley in Gandhi. I think he made me fall in love with Gandhi. In real life, my guide, my mentor, Dilip Shankar, who is a theatre person and also an amazing actor who does theatre. He is almost my ideal, but in a very practical way. And yeah.
And so, one word, if you had to describe the late Irfan Khan sir in one word, because you worked with him very closely, all of us really admire and respect him. If you had to describe him in one word.
What did you say? One word to describe him?
Right, sir.
One word. Oh dear. Magical.
And he was a magical human being indeed. And let me end on, however, a light note and ask you this question. And it's a very important question, sir. On answering this question,
I'm good. Okay, good.
on answering this question, sir, we are going to transfer 1 million Zimbabwean dollars into your bank account. The question, sir, the question is, which is your favorite platform to interact with young people? And there are two choices.
Oh, God.
One is
Okay.
IIMUN. IIMUN is one choice, and the second one is, India's international movement to unite nations. It's a very tough question. It's a very tough question.
Very, very tough question. Yes. तो 7 दिन और 1 हफ्ते में क्या फर्क है? मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा.
Sorry, boss. It's been magical to be able to talk to you from
No, it's a lot of fun, yeah.
From spirituality to film to what we should be doing in the pandemic to the upsides of the pandemic. Quite honestly, you say that you are the reluctant fundamentalist. But I'm pretty sure that you would be a great philosopher and not a reluctant philosopher. You would, and that is something that you must add in your bio, because quite honestly,
No, I just want to act better. That's all I can do.
But you honestly, you're an inspiration. I know you did stand-up comedy before you joined all of this. You did a little bit of stand-up comedy and little bit of mimicry. Because this is a light-hearted show, I have to end on this note. I have to request you to do a little bit of mimicry of any one person that you like.
I don't know who are the people you know, because my mimicry started when in 80s. So the actors, those who were there, they are not anymore here. No?
So there is always Mr. Bachchan.
Mr. Bachchan is a Roma, tum bahut achhi ladki ho. Something like that. I forgot. Or Shatrughan Sinha used to do like, "Hoy, kiss haram zabane yahan." Something like that. I did a long back. Yeah, I don't remember.
No, but hats off, sir. You are the most versatile actor that I know, because nobody else wants to come on this show. So that is.
Really? I know why.
But,
now I know why.
but thank you, sir. You've been a sport, and thank you for being with us, and thank you for doing this.
Absolute pleasure, and it somehow sort of make me learn how to deal with my 10-year-old, but no. Don't take it otherwise.
Oh,
not that way. But it's important to, because I had been a teacher. I had been teaching a lot, and last 10 years I was so away, and connecting to the young spirit, it just makes me feel like, hey, you have no idea how I was feeling just before this, and I'm like now chirpy, and I'm like this, and so you have given me way more than I can give you. So thank you so much for.
Sir, we got the fact that you were trolling me, sir. Don't cover up. So don't cover up.
No.
But thank you so much, sir. From the bottom of our heart.